They've just now started production on the new Avengers movie. Is this the Marvel movie we've been waiting for? We're going to talk about that more on today's episode of the Geek Watch podcast.
This is the Geek Watch podcast with Brian Hatcher and Mandy Petrie.
Greetings, Geek Watchers, and welcome to episode 245 of the Geek Watch podcast. I'm Brian Hatcher, and with me, as always, Geek Watch's very own resident geek goddess, Mandy Petrie.
Hello, Brian.
So let's start out today with the longest announcement ever. Marvel broadcast a live stream of about 8 hours. And over that 8 hours, they showed us the back of some chairs. And through that announcement, as tedious and as annoying to some people as it was, we finally got the cast list for Avengers Doomsday. And so let's go over this list, shall we?
It's so exciting.
So they started out with Chris Hemsworth, of course, as Thor. Then we saw Vanessa Kirby, who's Sue Storm.
Yes.
Anthony Mackie, who's, of course, Captain America, Sam Wilson. And then we got Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. Letitia Wright, of course, Shuri.
These are the ones we knew were happening.
We had a general idea. Then Paul Rudd, of course, is Scott Lang, Ant-Man. Wyatt Russell, who's John Walker, U.S. agent. And then Tenoch Huerta Mejia, who is a Namor. So he's going to be in. That was our first little taste of a surprise because I didn't know he was going to be in this. But then, of course, Eben Moss Bacharach, who's Ben Grimm, the Thing. Then Simu Liu, who is Shang-Chi. And then Florence Pugh, Yelena, of course.
Yes, our Black Widow.
Now we start to get to something a little bit interesting. We get Kelsey Grammer.
Yes, that was that was the first name I saw that made me go, that was my gasp moment.
We saw him in the Marvels, Beast.
Yes.
So that's probably what he will be playing. Then we get Lewis Pullman, who is Bob in the Thunderbolts. Now, we've mentioned that he's rumored to be Sentry. So in a sense, that's a spoiler. So I guess he's not going to die at the end of Thunderbolts. He should still be around and apparently, to some degree, a hero. But I guess we'll find out. And then Danny Ramirez, who is the new Falcon. And then Joseph Quinn, who is
Johnny Storm.
And then David Harbour, who is the Red Guardian. And then Winston Duke, M'Baku. So we're going to get to see him, which will be wonderful. And then Hannah John Carmen, who is Ghost.
Yes.
So
another one of the Thunderbolts.
Yes. So we know that Ghost will get to the end of the, which I expected. And then we get Tom Hiddleston as Loki. The God of Stories will make some sort of an appearance, which is awesome. Now let's go to some more surprises. We had a chair with Patrick Stewart's name on it. So Professor X, who didn't happen to survive to the end of the Multiverse of Madness, apparently is going to be back. But we also get Ian McKellen.
Yes, his hetero life mate.
Yes, Magneto. It looks like we're going to see Magneto. And then Alan Cumming, who in the Fox X-Men world
in the Legacies.
Yes, in the Legacy was Nightcrawler. So we're going to get him back. And then Rebecca Romijn, who was Mystique. Looks like she's going to be there. And then James Marston, who played
Cyclops.
Then Channing Tatum. So it looks like Gambit will be making a return. Then Pedro Pascal, who is Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. And then at the end, not only did we get the chair, but we got the man himself, Robert Downey Jr.
Turn around. Our Marvel King.
Our Marvel King, who is, of course, now our Dr. Doom.
Our Dr. Doom.
Now, let's talk about some of the names that we don't see on this list. We don't see Taskmaster on this list. And I had some suspicions that Taskmaster was going to be redshirted in Thunderbolts. I just had that feeling because you don't see Taskmaster that much in the trailers. You see her just a little bit, but not a whole lot. And so Thunderbolts is the Suicide Squad of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Somebody was going to have to die. And I thought that was going to be Taskmaster. And it would seem that would be the case.
Okay.
This is just my assumption, but I would think that if you have the rest of the Thunderbolts in this movie, but no Taskmaster, that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Now, We also don't get Spider-Man in this one.
No.
Tom Holland, although I will say this before we talk about any more people who are not on this list. To be fair, there could be some cameos.
Yes, this is just main cast.
Right.
And I'm still holding out hope for maybe an original Beverly from Howard the Duck.
Is a possibility.
Yes, from, I wish I could remember her name. From Back to the Future, the mom from Back to the Future.
Yes. It just flew out of my head too. It's like we're both having this moment at the same time.
I would love to see that. Yes, I would love to see that. And give us some really fun stuff. Maybe some Dolph Lundgren, although maybe those are a little bit more for a Deadpool movie. I'm not sure, but that would be exciting.
Well, that's another thing. No Deadpool, no Wolverine.
Although there's a rumor about Henry Cavill being a Wolverine.
Well, obviously he played Wolverine in the Deadpool movie for a little bit. And so there's definitely that possibility. But yeah, no Deadpool, no Wolverine, none of the Eternals. No Blade, no Miss Marvel. No Captain Marvel, no Photon, although, of course, we know that Photon
exists in the Legacies movies. Yes.
Yeah, because we wound up seeing Photon in the post-credits
where we saw
with Beast.
Yes.
And with a woman who looks like her mother, but, of course, is their version of Carol Danvers.
Right. And don't they make a reference to Binary?
Yes.
They said Binary pulled you out.
Binary in the comics was Carol Danvers when she lost her powers at the time she was called Miss Marvel, but she lost her powers
to Rogue.
Yes, exactly. And she wound up getting new powers and became Binary for a while. Also, we aren't seeing anybody from the TV shows.
No.
So no Moon Knight.
No She-Hulk.
No She-Hulk. Well, we don't get the Incredible Hulk either.
No.
We are starting to see more of the TV stuff translate into the full MCU, and we don't have that sharp division that we've had in the past, especially between like the Netflix stuff and the MCU. Obviously, we had Daredevil, Matt Murdock in the Spider-Man movie. So we're starting to see those walls break down, but apparently this movie is not going to be the place where we're going to see a lot of that. But I am going to say it's wonderful to see this big long list, and it's going to be exciting to see all of this.
It's my dream, the composite between the Legacies and the MCU coming together, and that's very exciting to me. And I'm very happy to see it.
Well, the thing about it is we do know that the next Avengers movie is going to be the combination of all the different worlds. If it's going to be similar to what happened in the comics, where you have Battle World and you have all of the Marvel universes together in one place where they're going to basically be combined into one world. And so the MCU is going to be down to like one MCU. Like I said before, I am excited about this movie. It looks like they're getting ready to pull out all the stops. I will say that I'm a little bit concerned, and I think this is something we talked about before, but in professional wrestling parlance, this is known as hot-shotting the territory. It's wonderful to have these moments where you have everybody together, but the singular movies need to work as well, and they haven't done as well as we would like them to have done.
Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson, there it is. There it is. Give us enough time. We'll get there. We will get there finally. So Leah Thompson, that was what we were talking about. So, okay. But that's the thing. We need to have those moments where the smaller movies work as well. And I guess we'll find out with Thunderbolts. Hopefully that works well. But the thing about it is, obviously, the movies like this are really expensive and it's not sustainable. You can't make all the Marvel movies like this.
Right.
And the truth is, these movies are going to mean more if the smaller movies mean more as well.
Yes.
So if you're excited about these characters individually, then you'll definitely be excited when they come together. And in a real sense, they're still riding a bit of the wave of the old MCU, although, of course, a lot of those people are gone now. We don't have our original Captain America. We don't even have Guardians of the Galaxy. None of the characters from Guardians of the Galaxy is in this list. And so a lot of this is going to be rebuilding. The new Captain America movie was the first part of it, and we've talked about that before. I thought it was really good. It did feel like a smaller movie, which is fine. I like that. You know, it didn't knocked the doors down. It wasn't like right out the gate, just blew the doors off of everything. But it has been very consistent, and it's getting to where it needs to be money-wise. It's taken longer. But fortunately, in this climate, it had the chance to do that. Where pre-COVID, if a movie didn't just do gangbusters as opening weekend, it was done.
Yep.
This movie at least had the chance to build its following and make its money over time. That makes me happy. And I'm glad that it had the opportunity to do that. And some movies are like that, or they certainly used to be. I hope that Thunderbolts does good business because, of course, that's going to be leading into this movie, which as of today has started filming. So they're going to be busy. It's going to take a little while to get all this together. You know, the Russo brothers have had real success with the Avengers movie.
These big cast, big.
Yeah, they've definitely been able to do that. But going back to their last movie, didn't quite do so well. So I'm going to still keep my fingers crossed here. But they sat there and teased everybody for 8 hours. I didn't stay up, and of course I was at work, so I couldn't stay online for 8 hours.
Yeah, I didn't. No.
But I can only imagine.
I saw it all put together at the end. So
yeah, they decided to speed it up a little bit, which was nice. But yeah, there were people checking in and out of it.
Yeah, it's like
out of the
when
live stream.
David Blaine used to hang in coffins above London for 3 days and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. Although I don't recall anybody making references to Box Brown, who was an African-American magician who first did that trick.
Oh, no. See,
yes.
No idea.
Yeah, he did that effect during the Civil War. That's how he escaped slavery in the South. Absolutely true.
Did he mail himself?
He mailed himself north,
Oh.
and it took him 27 hours. And when they opened the box, he popped up, said, "Thank God, hallelujah," and then passed out because, of course, he'd been locked in a box. So, yes, there's a historical aspect to that. But, yeah, I hope the best for this movie. I really do. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, the advertising, I'm sure there's some people that were more than just a little bit pissed that this thing took them 8 hours to get this list.
Yeah, that's
I mean, if the advertising works, I guess that's fine. But in the meantime, starting today, we get Death of a Unicorn.
Ooh, has that finally opened? Okay.
Yes, that finally opened today. And so I'm planning on going to see that this weekend. We'll see how Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega do in this film. I'm really excited about this. I love the A23 films. And it seems like the humor of this film is right up my alley. And so I'm definitely looking forward to this. And so I've got that on my list.
Yeah,
but
looks like fun.
Yeah, but I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about Daredevil Born Again because we got 2 episodes, 2 more episodes today. They decided, let's give them 2 because we get 3 more and that's it. And so they decided to pique our interests a little bit. And since we're talking about crossovers, we definitely have to talk about the crossover.
Was there a crossover?
Oh, yes. Yusuf Khan, which of course is Kamala Khan's dad. And things didn't go very well for him.
Did he need a lawyer? What happened?
You could say he needed a lawyer. Now, you may remember from the Miss Marvel show that he is a banker.
Oh, tell me there was a musical number?
There was not a musical number,
man.
but there was a bank robbery. And unfortunately, he discovered that things are rougher in other shows. Stay in Miss Marvel's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't have a machine gun pointed at his head in Miss Marvel, but he sure as heck had one pointed at this one. Boy almost died, but thank goodness he had a good lawyer.
Yes.
Because he definitely needed a good lawyer. And so seeing him interact, of course, with Matt Murdock was great. Getting to see that bit of a crossover and just seeing just how proud he is of his daughter. And he mentions Kamala.
Yes.
And then also mentioned the fact that New Jersey has their own superhero, to which he had a Funko Pop of.
Oh.
Which he showed to Matt and then realized, obviously he can't see it.
No.
But you can tell he's proud of his daughter and everything that she does. And Matt did get an invite to dinner, even if we don't get a chance to see it. I think that
just knowing that it's going to happen.
Yeah, because
there'll be fan fiction out there.
They'll definitely. And of course, we know that this isn't the first time that he's had his crossover because he was the lawyer for Peter Parker, which I mean, obviously he doesn't remember that.
Yeah.
But we remember it, by golly. So we got that first crossover, and so now we're getting some of the TV stuff crossover, which was great.
Yes,
and
he was a lawyer against She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So
It's nice to have that bit of a crossover. And we are getting nods to different things because in the show, we had Matt Murdock agreeing to be the lawyer for someone who was locked up for basically shoplifting. And his defense on all of this was, how do we know it wasn't a Skrull? Of course, you have to think about that for a moment. It's like,
how do we know?
How do we know? Does everybody do the Skrull defense now?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really going to jam up the courts, isn't it?
Yes.
But getting to see Kamala's father in a sort of a different situation. It's like he's still that character. He's obviously that character, but the situation is definitely a lot rougher on him. It's not as fun as being Kamala's dad in Miss Marvel. And I'm like, please don't kill this guy. Please.
Right.
Please don't kill him. But he handled himself very well, I have to say, in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
Again, a bunch of people with machine guns getting ready to rob a bank and no problem at all killing him if they had to. But like I said, we got 2 episodes this week, and then we finally got to meet our serial killer graffiti artist, Muse.
Oh, okay.
Which, again, not going into a whole bunch of spoilers, but what's interesting about this character is he's a serial killer, and he takes the blood of his victims and mixes it with this paint that he's been...
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the stuff that we've been seeing, a lot of the tags in the series have been done by Muse. And we have just discovered now that there's blood mixed in with the paint. Mm-hmm. And when Wilson Fisk finds this out, this puts him in a really interesting situation, obviously, because he wants to handle this, but he wants to handle this.
Yes. And now that he's a public figure.
Yeah, it's different. And
mm-hmm.
the way that he deals with his frustration in this situation, and the way he's been dealing with his frustration, I will say, because although he's trying to draw that line between these 2 worlds that he's been a part of, sometimes things cross a line. The way that he has to deal with his situation and the frustration of it is very typically Kingpin. Let's just say that. He is very mindful of having to be that figurehead, being the mayor. Mm-hmm. And you can definitely tell there are moments they put him in where doing the things that a mayor has to do is like, oh, this just sucks. You feel for him.
Public facing now.
Yeah, there's some things that he's had to do, and like you say, the public facing side of things that make it really difficult for him, and yet feel for him. It's like, yeah, this is no fun at all. Mm-hmm. I get it, but he has a skill set that he's not really able right now to take advantage of.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because his situation is a little bit different, and he has to play the game a little bit differently. As far as Wilson Fisk as a character, I find it really fascinating watching him learn how to be corrupt in a completely different way. Because he has to be politically corrupt now. Yes. He can't be crime lord corrupt. Mm-hmm. And all through this series...
There's still diplomacy.
Yeah.
Different diplomacy.
Yeah, exactly. And even this last episode, there are moments where you see Wilson Fisk having to deal with a situation that it doesn't go as well for him as it could have if he could have done it the way that he would normally have done it. Mm-hmm. Having to be tactful and eat a little bit of crap sucked. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you'd have given him 5 minutes in a room with this person, he could have taken care of it. He could have fixed it quickly. And mm-hmm. now he has to be a little more patient. But you do see him in his own way solving problems using some of the old skills, along with certain things that he's done and certain groups that he's put together. He hasn't shunned the old ways completely. We can definitely see that in the show, and that's been fascinating to watch. As far as Matt Murdock as a character, watching the journey he's been going through over the course of these last 6 episodes has been interesting. And now that we've seen episode 6 and we know there's going to be 9 episodes, we're at the 2/3 mark. And so a turn that he needed to make, he's finally made. Now that he has this new purpose in his life, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in these next 3 episodes, because obviously we have a crazed serial killer he's going to have to deal with. But then we also have Wilson Fisk, who's basically told him, hey, if you start doing the vigilante stuff again, if the horn guy starts showing up again, I'm not going to be nice about it. There are not going to be vigilantes in my town. And so obviously him donning the uniform again and going out again is going to be drawing Wilson Fisk back into his life.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the mindset that Fisk is in right now, he's definitely in a situation where he's promised people that the vigilante problem in New York is done. He's not going to put up with it. And so if he had any motivation to leave Daredevil alone, he can't do it anyway. But he certainly has a lot of motivation to say, I'm going to shut this guy down.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely going to come to a head. But I really have been enjoying this so far. I know you haven't had a chance to watch any of this yet, but it has been really fascinating to see, not just in Daredevil, but a lot of the superhero TV shows we've been getting. There's been some really great storytelling. Penguin, good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The storytelling has been amazing. The Agatha show has been really great storytelling, and we're getting really solid storytelling because we have time to let these stories breathe. Even if you have a big 3-hour movie, obviously you don't have the amount of time to tell a story as you would in like a 9-episode TV show.
Yes.
And so for me, that's where the strength of a lot of the TV comes from, is being able to tell these broad arc stories and develop these characters so that, hey, when you have the big team ups on the big screen, you've got all of the weight of all those stories behind you. That's a good thing. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where the story goes in these next 3 episodes. So that'll lead us into April. But we've also got our second trailer for Doctor Who that just came out.
Oh.
So they've hinted at a lot of story that we're going to be seeing in the next season. We are getting a bit of a twist on the companion arc that we normally get because we have a character who's a reluctant traveler. If you remember the old series,
Take Me Home.
Yeah. In the old series where we had Tegan, where she was traveling with the doctor, but she was just trying to get home.
Yes. She was a flight attendant.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have a character whose face is very familiar because we've seen it before because she was the soldier in Boom.
Yes, I'd forgotten I have seen this. Yes.
Yeah. So
they have like American Idol, but the universe idol.
Exactly.
Yes.
So because this is a trying to get her home and having a problem getting her home, that also means that we're not going to see, at least during the majority of the series, any episodes in Modern Earth, because obviously if they're in Modern Earth, she can go home.
Yes.
That makes these episodes, they're going to have to be in different times, different in
alien or historical or way in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's not going to be any of the traditional modern time stories in
but
this.
They got that Mickey Mouse money, so they have no problem.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to need it.
Yes.
But that's going to start in April, but by the time when the Daredevil's done. So once Daredevil's over, we'll have another show to watch.
Back to What the Who.
Yes, we can definitely do that. But with all the teasing that's going on, and we got Death of a Unicorn, I'm going to be watching this weekend. I'm really excited about, I've seen another trailer for Sinners.
Don't know about Sinners.
Oh, horror movie.
Okay.
With Michael B. Jordan playing 2 roles as a pair of twins.
Oh, this does sound interesting. Like Ringers.
It's so a lot of Southern Gothic.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of occult and magic and all of that. And so.
Is this a Jordan Peele?
No, it's not a Jordan Peele piece.
Okay.
But it definitely has that flavor to it. And so it's a horror, but it's different take on some things, which I'm definitely looking forward to. And there's stuff in our future. How good will it be? Well, I guess we'll just see.
We shall see.
With that said, we come to the end of episode 245. Thank you for listening, and tune in next time for the latest in geek news and views with the Geek Watch podcast. From Mandy Petrie, this is Brian Hatcher, reminding all the Geek Watchers out there, we're all geeky about something. Be proud of yours. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Geek Watch podcast. If you enjoyed this program, don't forget to like and subscribe on your preferred platform and share this podcast on your social media. For links to all the ways you can listen to the Geek Watch podcast, as well as leave comments and suggestions, visit our website at geekwatch.net. The Geek Watch podcast is a Hanging J production.